Look at the stars, look how they shine for you. And everything you do, they were all yellow. Bringing my friend Nick into the live stream so we could sing this song, 'cause I wrote a song for you. And all the things you do, it was all yellow.
Just lowering this, brother. Hey, everybody.
My turn. Oh, what a thing to done. It was all yellow. Your skin.
All right.
And your skin and bones turning to something beautiful. You know I love you so. You know I love you so. And it was all yellow.
Yellow night tonight.
Hey man, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Oh, doing well. It's good to have you back in the crib, doing it up like we always did.
Hey. For those of you that don't know, Jade and I usually host this show together, side by side. But I left.
A lot more room.
A lot more elbow room.
I know, but I miss having you close by, brother.
Oh, that's we'll figure it out. We're making it work.
Well, without further ado, I'm pretty excited to be welcoming creative director Instill Reece Fisher to this Wildfire live stream tonight. And
Absolutely.
I'm going to go ahead and read his bio like I'm Reece, if that's cool.
Embody the character.
I don't know if I could do Reese's voice, or he has great teeth. I don't know if I can do that either, but I'll just say, hi there, I'm Reece Fisher, and I create all kinds of engaging content, from viral superhero videos to shooting at the NBA pre-draft. Reece has had the opportunity to travel the world and create and capture some incredible moments. And what's he doing when he's not holding a camera or playing around in After Effects? Well, living life to its absolute fullest. So we're both super stoked to welcome and ask a bunch of questions, rapid fire wildfire style, but we might have a few that maybe catch us up and enter some conversations, debates, but
Marinate.
Want to let everybody know that's watching, feel free to use the question feature in Instagram Live to ask and post your questions. We've asked people earlier to pose a few, and we got a few from there, so excited about that.
Yes. It's exciting. It's the return of the live stream.
This is the return of the Wildfire live stream. We got a big one lined up next Monday as well. I don't know how much we can talk about it yet because there's still a lot left to be figured out as far as logistics are concerned, but we may not be on Instagram Live next week. We may be somewhere else. So just stay tuned. We'll let you know what the plan is.
Absolutely.
Well, I think without further ado, let's welcome Reece to the show.
Let's do it. I'm tired of hearing you.
Welcome Reece Fisher to the Wildfire live stream. Yeah!
Hey.
Hey.
What's up?
Hello,
you guys
sir.
hear me all right?
Oh, loud and clear,
yes.
My man. I have a alcoholic beverage, an adult beverage to cheers to you with. Cheers.
Oh.
Cheers to you, Nick. Oh, look at that reflector.
Hey. Thank you, brother. Oh.
We got a wine shot here.
I see that.
Not too bad. We got a slight buffer on Reece Fisher, but I'm gonna wait. You're liking the wine.
I'll wait it out.
You're liking
Can
the
you
wine.
get me next to you, Jade? Or is that not possible?
Let me see. How would I do that?
I don't know.
I'm curious.
Oh. We are having technical difficulties momentarily. Please stand by.
In the meantime,
If you're having a beverage, hold it up high.
hold it up high.
I don't have anything, but
No Pepsi.
no Pepsi. I just finished one before the show. Trying to cut back. Not really, but just ran low.
So, if anybody asks about the headband, I'm a pro athlete.
Of course, a power athlete.
I'm a power athlete.
You just got back from Tokyo, correct?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Oh,
Are we okay?
I think that's
all good.
Hello.
Sorry about that. I had a nice little setup, but I guess that's not where the internet is in the house. So cheers, fellas.
No worries.
Unreal.
Cheers.
Oh no, don't have a beverage, but okay.
I just want to say thanks so much for having me. I'm honored to be on the show with you guys. This is gonna be fun.
Oh,
I love it.
yeah, for sure.
I love the intro, Jade. I watched it. It was good. You sounded exactly like me. You had the great smile. It was awesome.
Not that good. Not that good.
No, it was good. It was good. I love it. Fellas, how are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Tell me a little bit about this wildfire feature.
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, it's been a bit of a journey. It's been about, Jade. I don't know. Jade brought me into it, so.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't force you into it, Nick, if that's what you're saying. I asked you kindly, and I said, you're going to get to stay at a cabin for 2 weeks and do sound, and we're going to bunk together and share a room, and we became bunk buddies, and some stuff happened that one night, but it's all good.
Yeah, we smoothed that over.
Love it.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, basically, indie film that we worked on a couple years ago. And we're, keeping the momentum alive and the spirit alive with these live streams and, talking about, creating and filmmaking and all different kinds of stuff with different people. So
that's awesome.
It got us through 2020 and we kept it going. So, yeah.
Very cool. Well, I love what you guys are doing. And again, I feel honored to have been asked on the show. So thank you so much for having me once again. Really appreciate it.
One more time, just everybody who's watching this live stream, there's a question feature. If you want to post a question, ask us anything. We'll answer it. I mean, yeah. I have a lot of questions. We can answer those.
Yeah, anything you guys want to ask. I'm an open book, so let's do it.
What is?
Let me start with the tough. Let's start with the tough one.
Okay, yeah, tough one. I'm in.
How are you?
I love it. That is a tough one sometimes, but in the current moment, I'm great, guys. Honestly, I've been out of the country for a little bit. I was just in Calgary with a good friend, Dave Tebbett. He's also in the video industry, shooting tons of weddings and stuff. But anyways, he invited me to come out there with him, and we had a really good time. And then I was in Muskoka for a bit shooting up there, and then I went to Melbourne, Florida, and I was shooting some basketball out there. And now I'm back, so yeah, it's been good. Summer's been good, having lots of fun, and looking to just continue the momentum like you guys were just saying about your brand. So yeah, things are great. Yeah.
Wow. That kind of answered like 20 of my questions. I could probably move on.
Sorry about that. Once you get me going, it's like, I'll just keep going, So.
I once planned a live stream, and I planned like about the same amount of questions, and I don't think I even asked 3 of them. I asked like 2. I just literally listened the entire time, and that was the entire I planned it all. She answered a question, but I just didn't have to ask any of them. She just answered them all. So I'll just ask an easy one. Where are you from?
Where am I from? Well, I'm originally from Niagara Falls, so Niagara has been my home forever. I'm currently residing in the Thorold area, and yeah, man. So Niagara has been kind of like my spot, and yeah, I just love it here personally. I don't know, people talk shit about Niagara all the time, but I personally love it here. I love how peaceful it is, love how beautiful it is. There is a wonderful assortment of people that live here, and you can meet here. So yeah, that's where I'm from.
A wonderful assortment or a wonderful escarpment of people?
Wonderful assortment. There's also a wonderful escarpment, I guess, a little bit.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
What do your parents do?
What do my parents do? Well, my mom works for the government. She's an unemployment officer, so she was quite busy over the pandemic. And my dad is an exterminator, works for Orkin. Got a license to kill, so yeah.
What was favorite sport growing up?
Favorite sport growing up was basketball. I played a lot of basketball. Yeah, so basketball was kind of my life before the video side of things kicked in. So I started my business when I was in 12B, but I actually stayed back for 12B to play basketball. But then I took the co-op with Jason Lupish, as that's how we met Jade. And
Yep.
yeah, so basketball was kind of like my thing, the thing that I worked super hard on. And yeah, so I still play basketball now a little bit, but that was like my obsession, if you will, when I was growing up.
That's
So
I love it too, man. I similar in that love for basketball. I didn't find film through basketball, but I feel like I just the whole mental psychological aspect of putting a basketball in a net consistently over and over and over again is kind of like getting your shots in
yeah,
filmmaking over and over and over again. The
very true.
competitive
Very true.
there, and like, yeah, you can
Yeah.
get zoned in, get into the zone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I have a question for you then.
And I
Did you
guess
ever
going
have like did you ever have a pre-game routine that you'd have before basketball or even while filming? Because I know I do for both. So
You know what? I mean, no, I don't. And now that makes me want to create one because honestly, like it's you want to get into those like sort of like into that zone. So I mean, having that pregame routine would be ideal. I mean, other than getting pumped up with music usually.
yeah, yeah, of course.
I didn't do
Also,
sports, but in high school I did like theater. So before every
nice.
show, I would as I was getting my costume on, I would listen to "Hard in the Paint" by Waka Flocka Flame, and I
Amazing.
would walk a very specific route around the hallways and like like but
That's
that was not the
incredible.
vibe of the musical whatsoever. But
That's incredible. Well, if I think I saw Val
that's pretty
log in
neat.
here, Valerie Borghese. She can attest that I was in theater for 1 year. I was Kyle, the UPS guy, in Legally Blonde play. So I wore some short shorts, showed off the legs, did some Irish dancing.
Fantastic.
It was fantastic. A little bend and snap, did a little like backwards flip on stage. It was great. Also, who else we got here? We got Gavin. Gavin, what is your go-to song to edit to? It's Shadow of the Sun. Yeah, it is Shadow of the Sun because it's the best. And then Coach Cruz.
It is.
Appreciate you, man. Anyways, sorry, continue with your questions. Didn't mean to.
Coach Chris gave a great.
Yeah, I think I saw
No,
a
not at
question
all.
there.
Oh,
Right?
not at all.
I guess so. There was a question earlier about who are your greatest teachers and what gifts have they given you from Cat Skinner Club?
Ooh,
That's
damn,
a great question.
that's a great one. Who are my teachers? Well, oh man, I'll tell you what. YouTube was a great teacher. That's how I learned how to do all my video stuff. But oh man, some great mentors in my life have been. I mean, to those who have listened to me speak before, I'll always go back to Mihai Raducanu, and he was a great business mentor. He was kind of the one who inspired me to drop out of school a little bit. So I went to Brock for a year and a half, and then my business started rolling a little bit, and he was just like, "Are you sure? Like, you need school? Because I'm about to travel the world, training basketball players all over the world, and I need a guy to come with me. Like, do you want to come with me?" I'm like, "Bye, see ya. School's out of here." Yeah. So yeah, he was definitely been a great teacher for me. As we're going to talk about, Jay Lupish kind of started me on the track of the whole video world. Adrian Dudziak as well. All those guys, they really helped me kind of get into the whole like, hey, here's how you commercialize your skills of like, wanting to just shoot fun stuff. Here's just kind of like the business side of it. And then Jay obviously taught me a lot about the film side of it, the story side of it, how to build a narrative. So yeah, and then I'm still learning to this day. Again, like my buddy Dave Tebbett, I find him a great teacher as well. He's really helped open my eyes to like the life and the life work balance because that's always important. I think this is one of your questions later on, but as an entrepreneur, somebody running their own business, struggling to find that balance between business and life, it can burn you out pretty quickly. So, and then lastly, I would say, all the guys that I work with, all the people that I work with, you can always learn something from everybody. So just having those experiences, like even I'm probably going to learn something from you guys today too. And that's why I'm so excited to connect with you guys. Cause you guys are professionals, you got this film going on. So I'm excited to learn from you guys too. So,
Well, oh man, we're still only in the general opening portion.
okay. I'll slow down. I'll slow
You're doing
down.
great. You're doing great. We're hitting it all, and I love it.
Amazing. Cheers,
Well,
man.
we'll take it back. I guess a little bit of a rewind, and I guess
Yeah.
just like that first initial sort of like interest in film, like when it happened for you, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, no, great question. I think for me, I've always loved movies. Like my dad got me into all like the Star Wars movies, so all those like, superhero. I was like, oh, I love it. It's so cool. And then in high school, I kind of just kept going with that. And then I started watching YouTube channels like, like the Sam Colders of the world, or there's this brand called HK Army. They were a paintball brand, and I vividly remember watching their videos. And they kind of like they shot the sport of paintball like very differently. Like it was very like cinematic and like slow motion. So they'd shoot with like the Red Epics, get like 300 frames per second of like these guys just like shooting these guns and like sliding. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, this is so cool. I'm like, I want to film sports like that, because I was playing basketball at the time. I'm like, man, I wish somebody would film me like that. So then I started to pick up a camera, and I started kind of working in the athletic council of my high school.
Yep.
And I started like filming and experimenting with like higher speed cameras, like, 60 frames per second. I was like, oh, slow motion's like the coolest thing. And then, Zack Snyder drops the movie 300, and I'm just like, what? Like, just blew my mind. It's like watching a graphic novel, right? So all this stuff kind of like started hitting, and I was like, man, maybe there's something like I could do in this field, because I love being creative. I love being able to like tell a story that way. And by the time I was in grade 12, I was experimenting in After Effects, and that's when like shit really hit the fan, because I was like, you can do all this stuff like on your own computer. I was like, this is so cool. And like, I'd be showing people, and they're like, what the hell, like, how'd you do that? And obviously, in grade 12, your first After Effects thing like is going to look like the worst thing ever, but to me, I was just like, oh, it's so cool. So yeah, that's kind of what started me on the path, and then linked up with Jay. So yeah.
So going off the storytelling lane, what kinds of stories are you most drawn to, as a viewer and as a creator as well?
That's a really good question. I saw that one, and I was really hoping that I would come up with something on the spot, but I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but I just think like stories that are fun, but also kind of they really hit like, I don't know, anything you're going through in life. So for example, you're like struggling with business, or you have something going on in your personal life, like a relationship. And then, when you watch a movie, when you're going through something, you're like, whoa, that's me. Or like, I can relate to that. And like, I guess that's like every story hopefully does that. And that's what you're connected to. But I guess like, it kind of depends what you're going through in the moment. Like that's like, I wish I had a better answer for you on that one, because it's a great question. But how about you guys? Like what stories are you guys most?
Man.
I was just about to say, I don't even know how to answer that one.
I just watched Malice in the Palace, and I was like, I was into just the whole sort of, I mean, is Ron Artest actually, like, is he crazy? Like, what's going on there? I remember reading all about it. I wasn't an NBA watching fan at the time of that happened. That was 2004. I think I started in like 2006, but I knew about it. And like, it was still like we had Jermaine O'Neal on the Raptors for a sec. So I don't know. I like stuff. Sometimes, like, I don't know. Some people think I'm terrible at watching stuff because I fall asleep a lot of the time, but I'm good at watching movies. I watch a movie through to the end. I went and saw the new Suicide Squad and loved that, and it was just so much fun. So
yeah,
I like a fun, watchable experience. I need to be engaged. Some stuff doesn't engage me, but it's like, I don't know. It comes and it goes. I don't know. Some just work, and it's like, that one works for me. That one, doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, that just inspired me to think of The Last Dance. Did you watch that documentary on Netflix, Michael Jordan?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like something like that. And I think the best way to describe that is like, it's real. Like, you saw the nitty gritty, you saw the like darker aspect of it. It wasn't just like, oh, Chicago Bulls won. It's like, there was so much like internal, like, conflict, I guess you could say. I think that's the kind of story I'm drawn to. So like, even one of my favorite movies is like Ad Astra and Interstellar. Like, those two movies are so much conflict, and you kind of get a deeper look into somebody like really going through some, like, they're battling with themselves, I guess you could say, right? And what their choices are going to be. Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that I love to see. Like, even, for example, I know we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but like Zack Snyder's Justice League, like, took such a dark look at like Superman and Batman and like what they had to go through with themselves and this character arcs. I don't know. I love it. It's great.
I love it. I love that you love it. I think let's touch on it for a moment, but we don't have to spend too much time, because we kind of talked about it in the quote. Sure. But I am curious. I guess just in regards to the type of art that you're inspired by, and also the directors that you revere and are inspired by as well in your work. I guess just make it like a two-parter, like, which directors are you inspired by, but also what art inspires your work?
Cool. Yeah. Great question. Like I messaged you guys in that one email, like, Denis Villeneuve is amazing. He's become one of my favorite directors after, I watched Sicario and all that, but then it was like Blade Runner 2049 came out, and now Dune's coming out, Arrival as well. Like all those movies are just so beautifully shot, but they take their time. And I think, in I don't know, I don't want to sound like in a time when like social media is everything's like super quick, like those kind of movies like take their time, and I kind of love and appreciate that they do take their time with everything. And then, I mean, again, Zack Snyder is just a beast, and his style is so like visually striking, and I really appreciate that, and I try like that for my visual effects. Like that's what I go off of, like his guy, his social media, or it's not social media, his visual effects guy. I forget his name. It's like DJ something. I forget. Anyways, I've watched a whole bunch of behind the scenes videos on him and how he like, studies like real life physics and how things would actually work. Because I don't know if you guys have seen Zack Snyder's Justice League, but like when the Flash goes into his like super speed force, like his shoes explode off of his feet because like physically that's what would happen. He can't just like save the girl by going really fast. He has to like gently like move her down, or he'll like kill her because he's going so fast. You know what I mean? And like that kind of stuff is so cool to me. So I love exploring that like groundedness in that fantasy. So I mean, I don't do much of that work commercially, but when I do my personal visual effects, like I like to kind of think of things that way. And like, I mean, I did the Captain America Shield video, and obviously that kind of defied the laws of physics, but thank you, appreciate it. But yeah, just stuff like that. I don't know. It's that's what I try and emulate, and then try and bring that like more stylistic style into it. So yeah.
Dig it.
Thank you.
So talking about Jay Lupish and working on his film Fight, I guess anything notable from that experience, and how did those experiences with Jay get you to where you are now?
Great question. So right off the bat, Jay Lupish, thanks for saying yes to my high school co-op and starting me on this path of creativity. But anything with Jay was always just so thought out, and I always admired how he could just walk into a room and just be like, "Oh yes, like this. I think this is how we should see it." And I'm like, "How did you even see that?" Yeah, we'll shoot through this railing and then go sideways and then flip. I'm like, "How did you see that?" So that always like enamored me to be like, how do I be like this guy? And then I would just watch him do his thing and start asking questions like, how did you see that? And then he would go off and tell me how to, this is how you light things, and you light it like this to make people feel this. And I was like, okay, now it's like all coming together. But to be honest with you, I didn't work on Fight too much. I think I was there like literally the only day, that maybe 2 days, that I met you, Jade.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just he kind of set me up to be like camera op that day. Because I was most comfortable with that at the time. So that was really nice. But other than that, I think, and anytime I was on set with Jay, he was always teaching me something new, whether he wanted to or not, like whether he was directly telling me or I was just watching him. But, like I was saying earlier in this chat, I try and learn from everybody, no matter what the experience is, whether they've done more than you or less than you, like someone's going to teach you something. So, yeah.
Amen to that. I like that a lot.
Appreciate that. Also, Colin, thank you, brother. I appreciate the compliment. You're a stud. That's the true Captain America right there.
Curious, what was the first piece of gear that you purchased?
First piece of gear, the Canon 6D.
That's a good one.
Canon 6D, yeah. So had to get a body, and then the next thing, I'm pretty sure is either the Canon 7200, which I still is my favorite lens to this day. It's just so beautiful, especially for stuff like weddings. It's just the depth of field you get with that thing is unbelievable. So yeah, those are my two first pieces of gear.
And what piece of gear out there is like the ultimate wish list? Like what do you look at that you're like, I need to get my hands on that?
If you would have asked me a couple years ago, I probably would have said something like, "Oh, I got to get like a Red Epic, or one of the like Red cameras, because they're so cool and you can do all these like slow-mo things, really high quality." But honestly, now, man, I think I look at gear as in like how effective and efficient it can be. So for me right now, like I'm looking at the Canon R5 right now. Inspired by Dave Tevitt, who ended up getting one, and he was like, "Man, you got to see this thing! Like the amount of like dynamic range it has, plus 4K 120 frames per second." And as I was saying before, I really love slow motion, so that was a huge factor for me. So yeah, Canon 5D, saving up for it. So That's what's next.
The Canon R5 mirrorless.
Or sorry, R5. Yeah, my bad.
I'm just looking at the specs, just trying to,
Yeah. Sorry. Canon R5. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Do you have an old, or not an old, but like just your classic camera that you love to shoot on? Like what, like, or do you just have one, or do you have multiple cameras? And of those multiple ones, is there that one that's just kind of your sweet one?
You know what? I ended up renting a Canon C300 for a music video shoot, and I loved it. I just loved the way it looked. I loved the way it felt. It was like big enough that you could really kind of screw around with it, but it was small enough that it wasn't like my back is gonna collapse in 2 minutes from holding it all shoot, right? So I think Canon C300 I would say is one of my top ones that I've used. So, and I've used like the Red Scarlet. I've used all like the Sony A7s, Sony A7Ss, like all that stuff. So, yeah. How about you guys? What did you guys shoot the like this film on, the Wildfire?
Got it.
Oh, he's going to get it. Oh, and he dropped it. No.
Oops. Yeah, so we got Black Magic Pocket Cinema 4K.
Nice. I've only heard great things about that.
Look at the size of that monitor on the back.
Wow. Nice.
So, I mean, it's crazy to shoot a whole feature on a film or on a camera that cheap, but with the
it works.
I have all of Greg's gear, and I'm bringing it back to him probably in about a week. But I don't own any of this gear, but I'm showing it off like I do. This is the only time.
Amazing.
We've got, what is this? The Sigma Art Lens 18-35.
Very nice.
There we are. Our own director, Greg Holmes, is in the chat.
Saying, awesome. Don't break gear.
Greg Holmes, what's up, man?
Saying, Jade, put that down.
And then a 50.
Incredible. Nice. Some nice glasses.
But I mean,
there.
Do you have a favorite lens?
The one that I own, the 7200 for sure.
Yeah.
That's definitely my favorite. I honestly, man, I haven't used too much, so I can't be like, oh yeah, this one's really well. I just kind of stick to my basics, like 24-70, 7200, 50, 16-35, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, man.
Well, and what did you shoot? You shot a feature film. You directed and
Warner Road. Yeah. So
and for Warner Road, what did you shoot that on?
We used the Red Scarlet for that one, and I'll tell you what, I completely regret it. You want to know why? Because everything was in the dark, and I should have just used the Sony A7S II that I had, because that's great in low light, and it would have made things a lot easier, a lot cheaper, everything. But at the time, when you're just like, oh yeah, we can use a Red Scarlet, let's use it for no reason. It's like, nice, man. Immaturity, but that's okay, because we learned a lot of lessons with that one. So. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we're learning the lesson of making our first feature is super VFX heavy. I mean, like, it's crazy, the workflow and the patience we have to have with the process on that with Wildfire. So, you learn your lessons.
Absolutely. And you know what? From doing like the amount of VFX that I've done, which is not really a lot comparatively speaking to a lot of people, but I find that the more you can do practically, the better. Like, the more you can do practically, the more you can sell it. So, like, say we're doing, for example, like the Superman heat vision. If we were to just like shoot it normally, and then all of a sudden like the lasers come out of the eyes, it's like, okay, it'll look good. But if you add like an actual practical red light on the face, it just adds like that much more. And it's super small, but you don't realize till afterwards. It's like, oh, actually, yeah, that's light. It would be casting red light on everything, kind of thing, right?
Right.
So I don't know how far you guys went with that in terms of like making sure things were great on set, but would love to.
Greg, I mean, kudos to Greg. Shout out to Greg, like big time shout out to Greg, because he had pre-planned everything on how to shoot it properly, how to green screen, how to, for planning for Roto, and he created like a little firelight that flickered on your face and stuff. So
that's sweet. Awesome.
I mean, it was guerrilla. It was, hard, like capital G guerrilla style running, but it was got something here.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, looking forward to seeing it. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, me too.
Are you guys doing a premiere or anything?
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sweet. Yeah. Well, I just want to make sure I don't miss it. I'm gonna grab those tickets. I'm gonna
Absolutely.
be there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it.
So talking about instillment, I suppose what motivated you to start your own business, and at what stage did that happen for you?
Uh, this is gonna be a funny answer. I used to try and be all like inspirational, and be like, "Oh yeah, it was all about this." But now I'm just gonna be like super real with you guys. I hated working for people. Like my first job was a buggy boy at Camiso's, and I just got like shit on by my manager all the time. Like, make sure you sweep this. And then yeah, I worked at a busser as a busser at Canyon Creek in Niagara Falls in the casino, and that was a lot more fun. But it was still just like, is there something more than this? Like, can I just like be my own boss?
Yeah.
And kind of create something for myself. So I kind of started exploring that at the end of high school. So then when I did end up staying for 12B, I met some really great people. Jay Lupish, of course. I think I see Adam Stevenson in here right now. Him as well. Kelly Provost, like all those great people who kind of guided me on this path of like, hey, you have the determination and motivation to start your own business. Like maybe we can commercialize your skills. Let's see what we can do. And I just started with small things, and that's how Instillment was born. So. It was great.
What would have been some of the challenges, I guess, in making enough money?
Yeah, no, you know what? Very fair question because, especially during this whole pandemic, like social media and that front end stuff is the first thing on the chopping block. Like if you're just trying to keep the lights on in your business, why would you pay for somebody to come do video,
Yep.
right? So the thing that I think is most important for Instillment and everything that encompasses was being able to adapt to seeing what was working at the moment. And so obviously we started with sports, so basketball, like anything for Brock University, like we're shooting a lot of sports stuff, which then kind of moved into, okay, Goodman School of Business saw a sports video, they want some stuff for them. So then I had to learn more like corporate kind of stuff, which was nice. So then we like fiddled with that a little bit. And then, because of Captivate Photo Cinema, like Adam Stevenson, Adrian Dudziak at the time, they kind of taught me more about weddings and how you can commercialize that. So, I was just starting to dip my hands in a little bit of everything to see what would work. And then after that, you kind of just start rolling with all of them. And then we're like, hey, which one's going to bring the most money? Which one's going to, allow us to further our goals? Like it's a good balancing act of like, hey, this is where we want to be, but this is what's going to put food on the table. So you kind of have to do that balancing act. But as of right now, like commercial work and weddings are two things that we're really focusing on. Weddings are just so much fun, and they're always great in the summertime. But then over the pandemic, we kind of shifted to do product shooting because it didn't involve people. So businesses would just ship us their product. Here's what we want, send it back to them. So that was kind of a nice little adaptation that we did over the pandemic. So yeah,
Very nice. Great answer.
Thank you. Yeah.
As we return to the chat, we have another question here from Coach Cruz. How do you stay so focused while editing a work, knowing well in the back of your mind that tight deadlines are always looming?
All right, Lou, thanks for the another great question. And the answer is become a fast editor. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, almost not kidding though, because another great thing that I learned from, working with guys like Jay and Adam and Adrian and all these guys in the wedding industry is that sometimes efficiency is better than like perfection. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like good enough, we'll be able to sell it. I know that might sound kind of shitty, but like when you have all these deadlines and when you got to work through all these different projects, like sometimes good enough is just like, hey, this is going to do its job. What was the goal? To get an audience reaction to do this. Awesome. Like, could we work on this for 6 months and make it VFX heavy and like hire George Lucas to come direct it? We could if we wanted to. But do we need to do that? Right. And so that was actually a really tough thing for me to learn, because I consider myself like I try and do everything to the best ability, but sometimes it's like, hey, you know what? This is just a video that's going to be like 15 seconds. It's just to get a point. So actually, you know what? Even today, let's use it as an example. Last week when I was like super hyped up, I was like, yeah, I'll do like a visual effects like promo for the show and it's going to be so cool. And then all of a sudden it was like, shoot a wedding and get all these like tight deadlines done. And then I'm just like, hey man, I'm actually just going to like do a selfie video. It's like, you know what? It wasn't the most amazing thing, but it let people know that we're doing it tonight. So you kind of have to weigh those options. Right. But, another thing that
I think, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing as well is time blocking. I've started to do that, and it's like, from, let's just say from like 10 a.m. to 12, you're just working on that. Don't think about anything else, and you'll be like way more efficient. At least for me, I find I'll be way more efficient after 12. Great, think about whatever you want, but if you can time block and stay focused on one thing, good to go. So thanks for the question, Lou.
Great one.
T-Drone Media, Thomas, would you say the movie It Follows has influenced some of your work? Absolutely not, but thank you for the question. That was a wonderful inside joke, Thomas, and I love it very much.
Moving on to your craft and your abilities and sort of the things that you market yourself and commercialize as far as your skill set is cinematography, video, and photography, but also on the back end, the editing, the visual effects. And I'm just curious, do you prefer one or the other? Or they kind of like, they kind of complement each other for you?
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, like I don't know if I prefer one or the other. It kind of depends on what we're doing.
Yeah.
Although my roommates can attest to this. So I actually live with the guys I work with, Dan and Ben, and they can attest to this. Like once I get going on a visual effects project, it's like I'll start it at 11, and then all of a sudden like I'll turn around and it's like 2 a.m. in the morning because I'm just like like zoned in, like not even gonna eat. But it doesn't feel like that to me. So like once I start trying to problem solve and like get into it, like for example, the Captain America shield, like we did that in one day, and it was like we filmed in the morning, and then by 7 or 8 at night, like it was just done, like just straight through, because I get so into like the problem solving and the design, and like I'm sure you guys know with like 3D, it's like lighting, coloring, physics, like motion, all that kind of stuff, right? Animating. So I don't know. I think in my heart, VFX is my favorite, but I'm not very good at it. Comparatively speaking, like I'm not very good at it compared to like professionals, but I love doing it so much. So thank you, Ben. I appreciate that, brother. You're the best. So Ben Manella from Instillment in the chat right now. Legend.
Legend.
You mentioned a little bit about how YouTube was a great teacher for you, but in terms of lighting or camera work, are there any other resources you'd recommend to first-time filmmakers?
Ooh, yes, Film Riot. I don't know if you guys know who those guys are, like Ryan Connolly. Oh yeah, Film Riot is the best.
For the name, yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing. Peter McKinnon, all those guys teach a very simplified way of how to get your point across, and it's free. So those would be like my favorite suggestions to say. Obviously, if you want to go start paying for stuff, then there's all kinds of resources out there, but those guys will do for free and be amazing. Also, we got Dan Cuttajar in the chat here too, another guy from Instillment. What's up? Rach, Amy, how's it going? The Seguin sisters, love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry to break off from the question there, but
No.
Oh, we love shouting out. We love shout outs on the show. Any opportunity to shout out.
Okay, you got it.
So shout out to Nick for just saying that. No, as far as VFX and the pipeline workflow goes,
that's a good one.
I'm just curious, like, what have been some VFX projects or some ideas that have like you've kind of come across in your head, but you haven't attempted fully yet, or like are outside your comfort level that not that you have the fear or you're scared of, but like it's big. You want and you're going to get there. So is that like? Yeah, I'm just curious about that, like, and achieving something in the future with that.
Yeah, actually, I have an entire list of stuff that I want to do, and it's pretty cool because I've structured them so it's like, in order to get to the next one, I have to complete this one because this one will lead into the skills needed to do the next one, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, there you go, Jade.
You look at the
up, baby. Let's go.
You look at the line.
We're ready.
So yeah, as of right now, my next thing, I actually teased it on my story a couple weeks ago. I bought this Superman suit, black Superman suit. So I wanted to attempt hovering. Like, Superman kind of has that like pose where he's kind of just like hovering, and then the heat vision as well. Yeah. And then, so we want to do like a lot of practical stuff with that. I actually just bought a leaf blower from Canadian Tire, so we get the wind and the cape and everything. So it'll be fun. But other than that, what I actually wanted to attempt with this whole thing that I wanted to promote this with was, in Infinity War when Iron Man does the first like nanotech suit up. Like I wanted to do that, but then I looked into it and I was like, this will take me like 6 weeks. But yeah, I want to be able to lead up to that. I think it'll be sick. So that's definitely something that scares me, but I would like to do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back if you guys want me. Unreal. Hey,
So I
Danny.
guess as far as your drive for what you do, what about the work specifically inspires you and drives you to continue?
Sorry, you just cut off at the end there. I didn't hear the whole question.
Oh, what about the work inspires you and drives you to continue? Just the day to day.
Um, this might sound a little bit selfish, but it's just seeing people's reactions. And like, especially when it comes to weddings and, you show a couple their video and they're just so happy or they're like brought to tears or something. And it's like, wow, like you did that. Like you're the one who inspired that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys probably feel the same way about your film that you're working on. It's like, why else would you like put in all these hours? And I know what it's like to be on set. I'm sure you guys do. And it's like long hours. You're like, holy shit, this day's going forever, but you're still going, you're pushing through. And it's like, what do you do? Like you're coming to that vision that it will hopefully inspire people and move people in some way, shape or form. And you're like, you can take ownership of that and be like, I worked on that, or I helped create that vision. Right. I think for me, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And actually, we got Danny here who's in the chat, and she was actually in my film Warner Road. She was the little girl at the Screaming Tunnel. She was the ghost girl, and she killed it. She was 9 years old when we filmed it, and it was her first film, and she did so well. So, Danny, thank you for being able to put in those black contacts. You were amazing. I know they hurt, but you looked so scary, and you did so well. So, well done.
Shout out, Danny.
Nice.
I'm just curious, like, about the different projects. I mean, it seems like, over your career now and the path that you're on, you've created a lot of different types of content and been versatile within all of these different types to create. I'm just kind of curious, like, what, like, specific format or type of content do you feel the most creatively fulfilled by when you're doing it?
That's a great question, man. And I think again it comes down to like the visual effects stuff, like anything with like any of the Star Wars or like superhero stuff. I love doing that. But other than that, sports, like I feel right at home. Like even just being in Florida last week and being able to shoot like really high end basketball was just, it was so refreshing for me. Like I haven't done that in years. And I mean, after I left Brock, I did the basketball team and hockey team for a little bit, but so like I haven't shot sports in like 2 or 3 years, and like to be able to get back there is like riding a bike. Like it just picked right back up. And I mean, you know how big the 7200 is, but I kind of developed this like style where I could like move the focus ring and the zoom ring at the same time, so I could get these really cool like looking shots. And I don't know, like if to me, like once I'm shooting basketball, like I could just keep shooting. Like I feel right at home. So that's
Very
probably
cool.
what I'm most fulfilled by. Yeah.
Nice.
How about you guys? Or are you guys more so just in the film side of things?
Ooh. I mean, personally, I mean, yeah, I mean, like different types of projects, like a documentary might inspire me a certain way, whereas a short film or a feature might, like be something that's thrilling, or it might be something that's, sort of action driven, or, something that's deep and like is artful and is going somewhere. Or it could be like Wildfire too, where you kind of have these characters that you get really invested in. So I feel like the most fulfilled I am is when I'm directing,
Cool.
or when I'm creating and hosting these live streams. Like I produce a lot on the side, and that's kind of like what I've kind of becoming known for, is more as a producer.
Sweet.
But I feel like producing I just do, and then the other ones, like I don't have to be too, like I need to have creative awareness, but I don't create in the producer role. It's more like you're coordinating and you're managing and you're pulling things together. Whereas
Yeah.
directing, I'm like, I'm creating that. Or if I'm shooting, I'm creating this. If I'm editing, I'm creating this. So it's interesting, right? Because I do feel fulfilled as a producer in that role, and being good at something is great. But creatively fulfilled is very different than just being like good at something. You do it because you want to help and make it.
Of course. Yeah. Actually, going off your point, if I can backtrack on my answer a little bit, we did this short film called Orders, and it was the first time that I had been in one of my own kind of films. So I had my hands off the camera. I was still directing because I had written the plot for it, and it ended up winning Best Action Short at the My Road Reel. So it was pretty cool, but it was sweet, man. I've never had more fun acting, and we were doing stunts. So that was the video clip I sent you where Krista like jumps up and like I'm like flipping the knife and everything, and like, man, I had so much fun doing stunts. Like I was just dropping myself on concrete. I didn't give a shit. I had bruises everywhere the next day, but I was just like, I'll do this again. I was sweating my ass off. Like, so the the girl that I was acting with there, Krista Zappatelli, she's a personal trainer, and so she was fine the whole time. You know what I mean? Like she didn't run out of gas, and she's like, "Come on, let's do another one." And here's like my fat ass was just like, "Okay, yeah, we'll do another one." I'm like trying to flip this knife, just like it really added to the realism, you know. But yeah, so that was just super fun. I really loved that. Really loved being on set for that one. So
Nice.
yeah.
I guess talking about navigating the waters of social media in this day and age. I sound like I'm like reading an essay, but what has been the importance of social media in not only promoting your art and business, but also using it as a showcase for your skills and just another, way to have an outlet for creativity and stuff like that?
I think it's good for a number of reasons. One is obviously just to get more eyes on your work. I wish I could tell you more about how to navigate it successfully, but I'm still trying to figure that out myself. So,
You're killing it.
Thanks, thank you, I appreciate it. I actually I started a TikTok thanks to Ben Manella, who is a part of his Stillman. He's like, man, post that Shield video on TikTok, like see how it does. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll do it. And then he like taught me how to do all the hashtags and do all that stuff, and I ended up getting like 1.2 million views on like my first video on TikTok. I was just like, what the hell? And I actually ended up getting some work from it, which was pretty cool. Like people actually reached out and were like, hey, can you do this for my superhero costume, like the cosplay community? And I was just like, yes, I would love that. That'd be sweet. So it was kind of cool. Like, and I think social media kind of allows you to, like you were saying, to showcase the skills that you have for them people to be like, holy crap, like people liked his video. What if they do that for my brand, kind of thing. But then it also gives you a platform to get critiqued pretty hard too. Not everybody's going to like what you do, and they're going to let you know. So, but I think it's good because sometimes you can't always just brush it off as in like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Sometimes they make a good point, even if it's very harshly written. They'll let you know, and you're like, no, that's absolutely right. And I remember this one guy commented on the video, and he's like, oh, if you got your textures right and lighting on the Shield, like it would have looked better. And I was like, hey man, thanks so much for the feedback. You're absolutely right. And then he was like, oh yeah, no problem, man. He was all like nice afterwards, and it was so funny because it's like I actually took his feedback. So I was like, you're right. Like if I would have gotten the right textures, I'm like, but I didn't because I didn't have time or whatever the hell it was. Right. So it was just like, you're right. I think that would have improved the video a lot. Thanks for the feedback. And he was just like, yeah, he's all nice after. I was like, that's so funny. But yeah.
Oh, my turn. Okay, well, I mean, I'll pose this question to you. Nick is a TikTok content creator, consistent now since, I mean, I don't know how long it's been, Nick, but I'm curious, Nick, to ask you the question. What has been some of your most successful TikTok content, and is there a trend for what you found that your audience likes the most?
Okay, so a little bit of backstory here. Well, I started last June, and similarly, like 800,000 views on one of my first videos. I think that's how they hook you in. I think they give you a little bit of that boost, and it hooked me in. So I've been making videos since then. But I kind of transitioned into movie stuff specifically and like film talk in November, and this series where I talked about movies that would be classics in 20 years or whatever. And then I did 12 parts to that. So basically just taking something that works and, building a consistent I kind of became that guy for a little bit. And then, cool. Just moving into different stuff. But if stuff works and people like it, continuing to do that. So that's what I've found that works for me. And I just like TikTok the best because it's just, I feel like it's the easiest to get eyes on your work. Like you were saying, it's just, the audience is there. It puts it out there in front of the eyes. So yeah, that's what works for me. But
awesome.
I was curious, what platform do you like the most? And yeah.
I think for me personally, Instagram seems to be the best thing for me. I get a lot of people messaging me on there for works, whether it's weddings or commercial work. So that's kind of like my biggest engagement platform. And then for some of my other stuff that I do, YouTube is really great, believe it or not. If you can kind of break into that scene, it's really good because YouTube will start favoring your stuff, especially if you post consistently. And again, YouTube is kind of the place too where you get a lot of your feedback from, because people are not scared on YouTube to let you know how they feel. So, but again, it's good. It helps out with everything. And I'm not one to be, I used to take everything personal when people would critique. Now I'm just like, I don't give a shit, man. I'm like, you have an opinion, you don't like my work, have a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful reply to him kind of being, a dink on TikTok.
Oh, yeah. So,
and just coming back like, oh no, I'm totally nice. Don't worry. I just was saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trolls.
The best.
We know you're quite the basketball fan, and so we wanted to see who you think is the GOAT, MJ or LeBron. And if you did see the new Space Jam, will it sway your decision at all?
I haven't seen the new Space Jam. I probably should, seeing as I'm a self-proclaimed basketball fan. But you know what? I'm gonna have to give it to MJ though. Just a stud. But I'll tell you, my like favorite, who's not in this question, is Kobe. I just think Kobe is just an animal. Just
Do you have
the
a
amount of
favorite Kobe game?
what's that, sir?
Do you have like a favorite Kobe game? Like
I don't have a favorite Kobe game. I just loved his like mindset and his demeanor about like how he went about work and life. And I mean, I'm pretty sure his production, his animation house actually won an Oscar at one of the Oscars.
Yep.
I forget which one it was,
Yeah,
but
it was Deer.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, you got it. So that's pretty cool. I just like that he was into the arts and how kind of like how much of a killer he was when it came down to it. Like, you know, he was like super nice and professional, like off the court, but once he was on the court, it was just like, look out, like he's in the zone. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier when I was like kind of getting in that zone of like creativity and being like, all right, it's go time. And like, don't get me wrong, like I love to have fun. I'm always laughing, making jokes and stuff. But when it comes down to getting the shot, it's like, I'm going. So
Mamba mentality.
That's it. That's it right there, man.
All right, Nick, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna ask. While talking about Niagara, we got into it a little bit, but as a fellow Niagara, I was born and raised in St. Catharines, so
right on.
We got that connection there.
Hey.
So, what does it mean to you to come from Niagara and continue to, work in Niagara and represent Niagara in your business and beyond?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think it comes out most when I travel to places and people kind of ask me about it. I start talking about it, and I start smiling because I'm proud to be from here. And like, it's not a perfect region, but nowhere is. But for me, again, I just really love it because I always tell people how beautiful it is, how peaceful it is, how great most of the people are around here, and there's so much to do. Niagara on the Lake is like one of my favorite places. It's so beautiful, and there's a lot of wineries out there too. So, you can have some fun. You can have some fun. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I don't know, man. I really like it here, and a lot of people have a lot of people have told me.
I'm not mocking.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of wine.
It's the best. It's the best.
Worked on corkscrew. Fuck's sakes.
True. Yeah. There you go.
Nobody's coming for you, Jay. Nobody's coming.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I really like it here. And whenever somebody kind of says like, oh, I moved away from Niagara, like you should too. I'm just like, look, I like it here. And when I need to work elsewhere and go explore other places, I will. But I like coming home to here. So proud to be from here. How about yourself, man? Like, are you in the same type of feeling of being from Niagara? Or?
Yeah, last year I moved to Toronto and I'm living with Jade there.
Okay. Yeah.
For a little while now, but it's good. Coming back, it was very, surreal, but it's home. I mean, it just feels good.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, and I went to Brock, so I was still at home there, and it was, yeah, I liked being here for a while, but I just kind of decided to switch up the scenery a little bit, but I'm always a Niagara kid at heart, so.
Awesome. Love it.
No matter how.
I'm from Sault Ste. Marie, actually from Goulet River. I grew up on a river.
There you go.
With one channel, no running water, no power.
2 miles to and from school.
It was quite nice. Exactly. No, I mean, I moved to Niagara when I was 18. Like, first place I moved to go to school at Brock, and sort of found my bearings as an adult in St. Catharines and Niagara. And man, I graduated school and tried to pursue the freelance Niagara filmmaking life without any gear. And what I was doing was mostly editing, because it's there's editing work to be done, whereas shooting stuff and buying the right gear and going that route is just it costs a lot of money to just buy a bunch of gear.
Yes, it does.
but kudos to you for doing it in the Niagara area and making a business sustainable. I'm still curious on that.
Thanks, man.
But
I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess just in regards to that, where do you see the business? Because that's a whole point of having a business, right? You have to think years ahead of it too, right? So
absolutely.
Where do you see the business in the next 6 months compared to the next, say, 1 to 3 years?
Got it. Yeah. No, great question. I think for me, it's kind of been like, so I'm not going against your point here, but you know how the age old question of like, oh, you should have a 1 to 3 to 5 year plan. But I think with the changing landscape of social media and, you know, what jobs are going to be available, what jobs are not, what jobs are going to start utilizing social media more, like, you know, is another platform like TikTok going to come out all of a sudden? It's like, it's really hard to plan for 5 years all of a sudden. Because think about 5 years ago, like, was TikTok even a thing? I don't even know. But like, right. So it's like, it's
Yeah.
so interesting how some businesses can then start utilizing this and like how can you be available with your services, and then all of a sudden, you know, VR is starting to become more popular. They're making cameras where you don't even have to pull focus because you can pull focus afterwards. I don't know how that
Right.
even works, but like you know, all this technology is going to come out. So for me, it's kind of been more about adopting the mindset of being open to what is going to work. Especially, you know, this pandemic happens. It's like, well, I really love basketball. Well, nobody's playing basketball, Reece. So who the fuck are you going to film? Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what
Right.
I mean. So it's come down for me to be like, hey, what's working right now for us? Commercial work is doing pretty well. Weddings are a big thing. Basketball is about to become a big thing again. And so I'm just going to work with that. What do I want to do? What do I like doing? I love filming weddings and events. You know why? Because I can engage with people, because I can shoot that stuff. I can document that stuff. I think I'm pretty good at putting together a story and showing emotion more than anything. Like, I think that's kind of what separated my basketball videos from others when I first started out, was that, you know, everyone just focused on the highlights, where I would capture a guy on the bench like screaming or hitting people or whatever it is, right? And I would capture those strong emotions where when you watch it, you can't help but either like tense up or smile or laugh or whatever it is, right? And I think
Mm.
for me, that's what it's always been about, is capturing that story and emotion and delivering that to people. Because when people would watch my stuff and all of a sudden be like, man, that video fired me up, right? Send a video to the basketball team, like, man, we got so fired up before our game. It's like,
Mhm.
that's what Instillment does, and that's what Instillment is hopefully going to continue to do, and that's where I want to keep driving it towards. So as long as we're moving people to action, hopefully, and capturing some great memories, that's where I want to be.
Fuck yeah.
Awesome. What a fantastic, you know, summation of this whole conversation. That was awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that a lot. Love it.
What do you say, Jay? We pretty much got through almost all the questions we were
Yeah, we flew through
asking.
that, boys. Well done. That was great.
I think, I mean, just I kind of just want to spend like a moment. You live with Ben and Dan, so just shout out to
Yes.
the other Instillment members and the team that you have here. You guys have a website, instillment.ca. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so, what kinds of services, I guess, do you guys offer as Instillment? And I mean, there's commercial, obviously, weddings. Yeah, I'm just curious, like, for people watching, if they want to hire the Instillment team to work on something. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just uh,
So we kind of have adopted the whole like package mindset of like, you know, if you're just gonna come to us and be like, hey, we just want like one video, we're gonna try and help you understand that it's gonna need to be more than just one video. Like, it's gonna be, hey, maybe we film one main video and then supplement that with like 4 or 5 smaller edits to post on story, TikTok, across like all platforms, right? So you're hitting more avenues, you're getting more traction towards your website. And then so Dan is actually he's more oriented towards the photo side of things. So he does amazing product photography, portrait, all that kind of stuff. So we can kind of encapsulate the entire package of like, hey, we're going to give you, let's just say our most basic commercial package is like, hey, you get a 1 minute video plus like another edit of that, plus a couple other little edits, and then you'll get 25 to 50 photos to like supplement all your social media. So then there's a month's worth of content. There's our reel right there. Got some Brock basketball games. We got John Travolta on stage there, legend. So yeah, that's kind of what we do. And then with weddings, we offer same day edits, which are pretty cool, which I love to do. Those are a lot of fun. So the couple can watch their video at their reception before they start partying, and it's a nice little send off to them. And then that's kind of basically what we're going to be focusing on. We used to do real estate stuff, but we're shifting out of that. So
true.
Nice.
yeah, that's what we do.
Well, shout out opportunity. Feel free. The floor is yours to give any shout outs you'd like to give there, Reece. And I just
Amazing, man. Yeah, I think first off, I just want to shout out you guys and Greg, our director, for, you know, having me a part of this and a part of the brand. Like, thank you for allowing me to come speak and tell you guys a little bit about what I do. And thanks for telling me a little bit about what you do. And I wish you guys the best of luck with the film and everything that you guys are doing. It's a lot of fun, and to anybody who's thinking about being a guest on the show, I would do it because these guys are a lot of fun. They ask some great questions and it's good. But other than that, I'll just shout out my boys again from Instillment, Dan and Ben. You guys are awesome. Thanks for believing in the vision and kind of buying into it and being some amazing guys that are not only, you know, coworkers, but you guys are my brothers as well. So thanks for helping me out with everything. And what's that, sorry?
Is that Ben's real voice?
Yes, it is.
I
swear to God,
that's his real voice.
Yeah, that's his real voice. Yeah, he was a music student all of his life, so he's that's actually his voice. It's a beautiful voice, is it not? Yeah, I know, right? Stud. Other than that, I think I saw my mom log in here for a second. So, Ma, if you're still watching, thanks for being the greatest mother, and thanks for always supporting me. And you know what? She can tell you this story, but when I first dropped out of school, she was not happy. Being an Italian mother, it was like, but you know what? She supported me in the end, and it was all good. So
nice.
Well,
yeah, boys, thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
From all of us to all of you.
She is in here. Woo! Amazing. Hi, Mom.
Hi. Hi, Reece, Mom.
That's awesome.
Well, that's another one in the books.
You made me proud.
Yes.
Such a cutie.
Oh no, seriously, it's been a pleasure. You got great vibes, my man, and I wish you all the best on your path. And just like keep hitting us up, like whatever the email list is. You have our emails. Like throw us the Instillment content. We want to consume it. We love it. So and yeah, whatever you guys do, just keep killing it.
Awesome. Yeah. Great. Thanks a lot, guys. Seriously, once again, really appreciate you taking the time to have me, and it was some great chats. If you guys want to get together soon for some beers in real life, let me know. You guys got some great vibes as well. So thanks for everything, boys.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Good luck with everything, and let me know how that film.
Hi, everybody.
End up. I need some tickets. I want to come see it. So let me know how I can support.
Of course.
Absolutely.
We'll let you know as soon as we know.
Incredible. All right, fellas. We'll see you later.
Bye, Reece.
Have a good one.
All right. Take care, guys.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you all for joining us on this crazy wildfire live stream with Reece Fisher. That was a great chat.
Mike, fantastic. Good old Niagara boys. We do it right.
That would do. Well, it's fun to give just take this headband off for a moment.
Yep. Reflect.
Say thank you to everybody who came out tonight to support the live stream and continues to support the live stream. Stay tuned for next week.
We'd love for you to, give us a follow. Keep up with the great film Wildfire that will be coming soon, and we can't wait to share it with the world. And yeah,
it's gonna be quite a screening, a premiere, if we have all the Wildfire live guests at the Wildfire feature.
That's what I'm thinking, and we do a big group photo.
Absolutely.
With all the guests. That would be amazing.
Absolutely. Thanks again to Fisher for coming in and killing it, because he kills everything he does. This man is a literal assassin, Mamba mentality from start to finish. And looking forward to more of this VFX content stuff that he's been working on. He's like really, he's pulling some cool art together here. So excited to see what's next. And it's always fun content. His content is just so much fun to watch. It's visually, it's there's a lot going on. So just and the music is great too. So just loving the content, man. I've been digging it for a while, so it was a real honor to interview you tonight, man.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned for next week. We will give you the details on a very special live stream for next week at a special
place,
time and place.
Probably the same time.
More so place.
Yeah. Or maybe a little earlier, maybe 7.
Same bat time, different bat channel.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Well, bye, Jade. It's been a slice.
It's been a slice, Nick.
I'll talk to you soon.
Good night, Nick.
Bye, brother.